Shootout.com here at World Series of Fighting 2 in Atlantic City, New Jersey, with victorious World Series of Fighting welterweight Josh Berkman. He knocks out Aaron Simpson in the first round in emphatic and dramatic fashion. First of all, Josh, you just watched a replay on the TV behind us of the knockout. I presume that was your first time rewatching it. What did you think as you watched your handiwork?
You know, I was just I was excited about the result. You know, you work on things in training camp, and you don't always know exactly how that they're going to come out. You know, and we really worked on our distance and our timing for this fight, especially because Aaron Simpson had really good distance and timing, the way that he threw his punches. And, you know, to watch that and see that Aaron Simpson was moving like that and I was able to kind of figure that out, it just makes me know that I'm on the right track, you know, so.
Aaron Simpson, I don't think anyone really expected a finish in this fight. Most guys expected you to grind and wrestle. And when Aaron Simpson has been finished, I mean, the Chris Lieben fight, he got tired, got hit with some crazy type shots. I mean, you basically took him apart from Jump Street. Talk a bit about, once you bloodied his nose, it seemed like you were just in a zone, everything connected. Was there, well, I mean, did seeing blood really just draw you into focus there? What about the particular style matchup allowed you to just be so dominant and land everything that you threw?
You know, part of it was just getting ready for Aaron Simpson, you know, and now, you know, I'm not training for fights. You know, I'm training to be the best, to where before, early in my career, I was training to get ready for fights, and then I would take a break, and then I would train and get ready for another fight. And now I don't really take breaks. There is no start to training camp. There is no end to training camp. I just, you know, I'm training to be the best now. And I think that's the biggest difference in you know, finishing people. And those, you know, now that I'm in shape, now that I'm doing things I want, you know, I watched my last fight with Gerald Harris, and Boston's like, he's got to follow up. He's got to put them together. So we've just worked on putting things together. I don't got to worry about getting in shape now. Now I can worry about putting combinations together and adding a little bit of style to my art.
Compare and contrast what you're doing now in preparation and training to what you were doing at the tail end of your UFC run. Because at the end of your UFC run, you went, you know, 5-5. You lost to Pete Sell, and people basically went, well, Josh Berkman's not long for the world of elite level mixed martial arts. Since then, you've won 7 of 8 and definitely looked like a different fighter. Not just because you're winning, but stylistically looked different. What exactly is so different apart from just, as you mentioned, training constantly and not taking time off?
You know, there's a lot of differences. I would say when I was in the UFC, the biggest thing is that I was training for fights. I was a fighter. You know, now I feel like I'm definitely more of a mixed martial artist now, to where I'm trying to improve all the time. You know, everything that I do every day is to get better at my craft. And then my last 3 fights in the UFC, I got hurt training for Mike Swick, snowboarding. And, you know, I hurt my back, and I still, you know, did pretty good in that fight. I feel like I won the fight with Swick. And then I fought, you know, the next fight, and I picked up, what's his name? Dustin Hazlitt, and slammed him, and I herniated a disc in my neck. So it was just a bunch of spine problems, you know, and then I was going to take time off after my fight with Hazlitt, and I told Joe Silva that, and then he called me up and said, hey, I got a fight for you. And it was Pete Sell, and I was like, well, I can beat Pete Sell without training. And I got humbled because I couldn't beat Pete Sell without training. I was training twice a week, hitting mitts with Sean Tompkins, and so that was it. I wasn't able to train like a professional fighter should train at the end of my career. So I took a year off, did the best I could to heal my neck, heal my back, and came back at it feeling better. And now the biggest thing is, you know, I'm married, I have a little boy, and they just add so much love and so much, you know, fulfillment to my life that it makes me better at everything that I do.
You're providing me the natural segue. I mean, one thing that you've been adamant about in winning these fights is that being married and having a child has changed you. How exactly does that manifest when it comes to going to the gym every day and actually putting in the work of being a fighter? Because, I mean, people just imagine it's a psychological switch, but how do you actually see the difference and realize the difference thinking, I'm a married man, I have a kid, and I'm also a mixed martial artist now?
You know, I think it's balance in life. You know, for me, you know, my wife, she's a great cook, so I don't ever, you know, she's very healthy. You know, she was a world champion in yoga herself, so she cooks healthy. And, you know, those things like going to the gym and coming home and having a meal prepared for you, it's amazing, you know, what that can do. And, you know, being a husband and father is the best thing I've ever been able to do in my life. And so that's put fighting back behind that. You know, my wife and my son are my priorities now, and fighting, it gives that a better balance. You know, even to where last night my son's crying in bed, you know, and I'm sitting there laughing and playing with him, you know. My wife's like, you got to go to sleep. And I'm like, I'll be fine, you know. So it lightens everything up, and that makes me perform better.
You were instantly asked following the victory whether or not you'd be facing John Fitch in June. Most people expected that by virtue of winning, you'd be lined up against John Fitch. You seemed to balk at the idea, said you wanted a title shot. World Series of Fighting has indicated that title fights will definitely come later this year. First of all, do you have any intel on exactly when a title fight's going to happen? And what exactly is your beef with John Fitch getting a title shot without having fought here yet?
Right. I think... I have a lot of respect for this organization. I also have a lot of respect for the UFC, but I don't believe that anybody should get cut from one organization or lose a fight in an organization, come to another organization, and get big shots. I think that I came in here and I've beat Gerald Harris, I beat Simpson, and they say, oh, you're going to fight John Fitch. Well, make John Fitch fight somebody and win a fight, because and I say that because Ray Cefa said about the third or fourth show, we want to start giving out some titles, so somebody's got to start talking about it, and I figure I'll be the one that mentions it first. And I feel like I've won two fights where I was 2.5 to 1 underdogs, and I feel like I've earned a spot at to at least ask for a title shot. And I think with John Fitch, I said, hey, I would love to fight you for the title, but I think you need to come in here and win a fight. And he said, I agree 100%. So I would love to fight John Fitch. I just think he should earn his spot there.
It almost seems weird that you seem to depersonalize the fight in a way, in spite of the fact Fitch is a guy who beat you in the UFC 7 years ago, and I mean, it doesn't seem like you're at all irked by the fact that Fitch was able to win that fight and get his hand raised against you. I mean, a lot of guys would instantly personalize it and say, I want to fight him, I want the revenge fight, I want to be able to beat him. How are you able to distance yourself in that way and focus on simply the idea of, I want to fight for a title, I want to fight a guy that's actually won and fought in World Series of Fighting already?
Because when you win the world title in our contract, there's a title bonus. And I love to fight, but this is also my business, and I'm also looking to up my contract and get better position. I feel like John Fitch, that's a fight that I deserve a little bit more money for it, and like I said, I like to fight. I would love to fight John Fitch, but there's a business end to this too, and the promotion has a business end, and so do the fighters.
If nothing else, maybe that's the most prominent way in which being married and having a child changed you.
Yeah, you got to put milk on the table.
Best of luck in getting more milk on the table. Josh, thank you so much for the time, and congratulations on a fantastic knockout.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Thanks for all you guys do for us, and keep supporting the World Series of Fighting. It only helps the sport.